What will be the diplomatic priorities of Pakistan in this high-level segment of the United Nations General Assembly, which is set to begin on 23rd of September at UN headquarters in New York?
Our priority is on strengthening multilateralism and strengthening the UN while recognizing that there are challenges, but also acknowledging that there is no alternative to this system. The Prime Minister will be there representing Pakistan after, what we saw in May, this aggression by India, to which Pakistan responded so confidently, and there is a ceasefire that was agreed. I would say it was a ceasefire that Pakistan agreed to from a position of strength.
There have been two issues since last 77 years on the UN agenda. One is Palestine, the other one is Kashmir. So with which hope United Nations is celebrating 80th year, because these are some of the longest lingering issues on the United Nations agenda.
It is an important landmark.
True.
And, we're completing 80 years of the UN. So we have to see what has been achieved and what are the challenges.
How you see this complete disrespect by Israel to any of the international law, UN system, and keeping in view this ongoing carnage by Israeli forces in Gaza?
History has taught us that the occupiers, they come up with their own logic and justification to argue that what they are doing is right and what the rest of the world is thinking is wrong.
Don't you think there will be any negative impact on Pakistan-US relation because of this extraordinary position Pakistan has adopted against Israel?
It's not about confronting, it's about taking a position that reflects, while you are a member of the Security Council, that reflects your responsibility. Whatever are the positions of respective countries, whether it is Arab countries or others vis-a-vis Israel, it's their policy concerned with our position, and our position is very clear. We want progress, we want forward movement on the establishment of an independent Palestinian state.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, today we will focus on upcoming session of United Nations General Assembly's 80th session. 80th session is going to be extraordinary because United Nations General Assembly, or United Nations itself, will be celebrating its 80th anniversary of its creation. And this UNGA 80th session is going to be a stormy session. Since over the last 1 year, the world has witnessed so many issues. And more recently, there have been, of course, Israeli aggression on Qatar. Then there is ongoing conflict in Gaza. There is an ongoing conflict in Ukraine. And on 10th of May, 2025, Pakistan and India clash. And Pakistan called it Marka-e-Haq. And Pakistani Prime Minister, Mr. Shahbaz Sharif, will be representing Pakistan in the UN General Assembly. In today's conversation, we will also discuss the issue of Israel, the issue of Gaza, and several other issues in the Muslim world, several other conflicts. And we will also discuss whether United Nations system, General Assembly and Security Council, still effective. And we will also have a quick analysis of call by the Chinese President Xi for a new global governance initiative. To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmed sir. Very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellency, thank you so much to you as well that despite your busy schedule, you spared time. I would like to begin conversation that since it is going to be a very, very important session, 80th anniversary of United Nations But over last 1 year, we have seen so many things, including India-Pakistan conflict, including Israeli aggression on Iran, and then Israeli aggression on Qatar more recently. But I would like to begin that what will be the priorities of Pakistan in the UNGA, since Pakistan is also confronting a number of issues. And as I mentioned, on 10th of May this year, Pakistan had a clash with India, a war with India, and with the blessings of Allah Almighty, Pakistan won that. So, what will be the diplomatic priorities of Pakistan in this high level segment of the United Nations General Assembly, which is set to begin on 23rd of September at UN headquarters in New York? Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mateen Haider, for having me in your program. Very rightly, as you pointed out, this is an important session. In fact, every year brings new things for discussion. This is a global platform, the high level week of the annual session of the General Assembly. But this year has assumed greater significance because it is the 80th anniversary of the UN's establishment. And over the years, and specifically in recent years, there's a lot of discussion that multilateralism is under attack, has been weakened, and what are the roles of the United Nations going forward. Many questions are there. There are questions of reforming the UN and the global governance architecture. And in this context, I would say that Pakistan's priorities are very clear. This is something that we have also very clearly demonstrated during our tenure in the Security Council. Our focus, our priority is on strengthening multilateralism and strengthening the UN, while recognizing that there are challenges, but also acknowledging that there is no alternative to this system. Mm-hmm. So during our Security Council presidency, also, one of the key events, the debates that we organized was also how we can utilize multilateralism and peaceful settlement of disputes to promote international peace and security. So I believe the Prime Minister, when he's going to come here, is going to, deliberate on all of these matters of importance. First of all, our attachment and commitment to multilateralism and to strengthening and reforming the United Nations, but to strengthen and reform it in a way that serves the interests of the wider international community, not just one or two or three, four countries. That has been our consistent position. And secondly, I would say that the Prime Minister will be there representing Pakistan after, what we saw in May, this aggression by India, to which Pakistan responded so confidently, and there is a ceasefire that was agreed. I would say it was a ceasefire that Pakistan agreed to from a position of strength. Pakistan demonstrated that it can, on its own, as being self-reliant in defense, can handle such aggression. So it will be a projection of a country that is united. It will be a projection of Pakistan that is very confident, that is able to defend itself, not only defend itself, but is able to defend the, the calls for the international law to be upheld universally, that is able to demand that the international system that is represented by the UN is respected globally, and that is able and willing to defend and promote multilateralism. So I believe there will be discussions on many issues during this upcoming session. Obviously, Palestine, Gaza is a burning issue. There is Ukraine as well. But there are many other priorities that the developing world has. For example, the development issues, the implementation of the SDGs, climate issues there. So every session brings the global leaders to this forum, and you can expect that all the issues of national, regional, and international importance, they eventually are figuring in the statements in the General Assembly.
There have been two issues since last 77 years on the UN agenda. One is Palestine, the other one is Kashmir. So, with which hope United Nations is celebrating 80th year, because these are some of the longest lingering issues on the United Nations agenda, and UN has failed in mediation or in its resolution of these conflicts. Why it has been so?
Well, I would like to just mention it is not actually a celebration. That's why we say it's a commemoration.
Commemoration.
You have rightly pointed out, there is sometimes, and rightly so, there is a feeling that what is actually there to celebrate. But it is an important landmark.
True.
And, we're completing 80 years of the UN. So we have to see what has been achieved and what are the challenges. So it would be wrong also to say that UN hasn't delivered much. UN has done a lot. It has helped through peacekeeping many countries in Africa and elsewhere. It has also promoted the global priorities, including on development, human rights, and climate. But you have rightly pointed out, and I think this is the shortcoming of the UN, particularly in the case of interstate conflicts. After what UN did in the initial decades, there has been a significant shortcoming. So that needs to be overcome. There has to be more engagement, not less, more engagement of the UN, more proactive role of the Security Council, more responsibility taken upon themselves by the permanent members of the Security Council. And also, I believe it is the responsibility of the entire membership that they give that role and space to the UN to effectively promote solutions to these long-standing situations like Kashmir and Palestine. We have to empower the Secretary General, for example, to play his good officers' roles. We have to call for implementation of Security Council resolutions. In fact, if you look at Article 25 of the UN Charter, it is the responsibility of the membership of the UN to implement UN Security Council resolutions. So there is a lot of discussion which is taking place also in the context of the reform efforts that are underway at the UN. You remember last year we adopted the Pact for the Future. There were many commitments that the global leaders undertook. And this year, the outgoing Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he has proposed a new initiative, UN 80, that also revolves around many aspects of how do we reform this global institution to make it more effective and efficient, to make it fit for the future. So all of these discussions are taking place in different formats at the UN. Pakistan is very actively participating in these discussions. And the Prime Minister will also refer to, what is our vision of the UN going forward.
So, since you have mentioned that United Nations have been maintaining global peace, there have been peacekeepers, but specifically again referring to India, with reference to Jammu and Kashmir conflict, India has shown complete disrespect to all UN debates, Security Council resolution, UN General Assembly resolution, and similarly, Israel has gone too far with regard to the Palestinian question, and whatever current aggression is going on, that is almost broken the record of worst atrocities and human rights violations in Gaza. There is starvation, there is almost everyday bombing. And the other day, we have seen the way Israeli ambassador to the United Nations was giving a wrong reference to Pakistan that if OBL is killed in Pakistan, no one condemn. And Israel has every right to carry out aggression or to target terrorists. So, although the Doha, the target which was made, of course, which was hit, there was peace negotiations going on at that time. So, how you see this complete disrespect by Israel to any of the international law, UN system, and keeping in view this ongoing carnage by Israeli forces in Gaza?
Well, Dinsa, you know that, and history has taught us that the occupiers, they come up with their own logic and justification to argue that what they are doing is right and what the rest of the world is thinking is wrong. So, but it doesn't work that way. And we are also familiar with the playbook of both these occupiers in the case of Kashmir, that is India, and in the case of Palestine and other Arab territories, that is Israel, that you try to divert the attention of the international community from the core issue, that is occupation, and you bring in other things and try to justify your actions. So you see in both cases, they try to paint the freedom struggle, the struggle for self-determination with
as a terrorism.
So that's why it is very important to call them out. And this is what Pakistan thinks we need to do. This is what the international community must do, because when there are some who act as apologists of these occupying powers, then basically you are emboldening them, and this is what has happened over the years. So they openly refute and say that they are not there to respect the international legitimacy. They are not going to implement the resolutions of the UN and the Security Council. So there has to be a cost that must be imposed.
It's important. There has to be a cost.
It has to be said very clearly that this behavior cannot be acceptable. So that's our position. So whether in the case of Kashmir or Palestine, we always take that position, and we believe that when we are sitting in the Security Council, it is our responsibility because the Security Council is discussing these situations. They are on the agenda of the Council. And when any situation comes for discussion in the Security Council, as a member of the Council, we have to state as to how we are looking at the evolution of that situation. So it's not just about Palestine, it's about any issue that is discussed in the Security Council, whether it's an African issue in Sudan, whether it is Syria or Yemen or Colombia, Haiti, anything. We have to state our position, and we have to tell as to how do we think that this situation can be improved. So it is in that context that we express our position in the Security Council as a responsible member of the Security Council. And we believe that if we don't do that, then we are not doing justice to our, seat on the Security Council. So we are not there just to, remain silent and listen to what, even these parties are coming and criticizing the Security Council, criticizing the members of the council and the international community, and, just concluding a meeting on that note. So that's why we believe that, and this is not the sole responsibility of Pakistan. We believe every member, and particularly the permanent members of the Security Council, they must look into how these situations have either festered while being on the agenda of the council and how they must be resolved.
So, since you talked about this Israeli attitude towards Palestine and Indian attitude, very cold attitude towards Jammu and Kashmir, I will like to seek your comments on the recent session of United Nations Security Council, which was Pakistan was on the forefront. But unfortunately, we have seen none of the leading Arab states were not part of that initiative to call UN Security Council. Pakistan is not in a direct conflict with Israel. Although the Arab states which are in conflict with Israel, they are enjoying normal diplomatic ties, trade ties, political ties, everything like that. And why Pakistan is taking extraordinary, although it is a principal position in Pakistan's foreign policy that Pakistan would continue to support, but with compared to the Arab worlds, which are quite close to Israel, they are enjoying friendship, they're enjoying better relation, and Pakistan is confronting with Israel at a time when Pakistan enjoys good relations with United States and United States has good relation. Don't you think there will be any negative impact on Pakistan-US relation because of this extraordinary position Pakistan has adopted against Israel?
Well, I think there need to be a better understanding. It's not about confronting. It's about taking a position that reflects, while you are a member of the Security Council, that reflects your responsibility. And it's not that just Pakistan has, for example, convened this meeting. We requested this meeting together with Algeria, which is also representing Africa and the Arab group, and also Somalia, again, same case. But it was also supported by other countries, including the UK. So it's not just that, Pakistan is requesting, but even if we have to request it alone, we can do that. And by the way, this request was made because there was a request by the delegation of Qatar that we should request for an emergency meeting of the Security Council. These are the usual routine things in the Security Council. When you are sitting on the council, you request meetings on one issue or the other. Even in recent past on Gaza, some of the European countries have requested meetings of the Security Council to discuss the famine situation, to discuss the humanitarian situation, for example. So that is something that I just wanted to clarify. The other thing is that, whatever are the positions of respective countries, whether it is Arab countries or others vis-a-vis Israel, it's their policy.
It's their policy.
It's their policy. We have nothing to do with their policy. We are concerned with our position, and our position is very clear. We want progress. We want forward movement on the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, which must have full membership of the UN. This is what we are working for. And we see that there is growing momentum. There is growing support among the international community. And this is based on the realization, the acknowledgement of the fact that there can be no durable peace and stability in Middle East without resolving the Palestinian question. So that is important, and that is why this high-level conference that took place at the end of July on the peaceful settlement of Palestinian question and the two-state solution, it was important. It has adopted an outcome. This was endorsed by the General Assembly last week. This is important, significant movement. It is now supported by many of those countries who were either neutral or siding with Israel in the past, who have now come in support of moving forward for an independent Palestinian state. So this is gaining momentum, and we believe that pressure will keep on mounting. In the Security Council, we are working with other non-permanent members on a new draft resolution that will call for immediate access for humanitarian assistance. As you know, there is famine situation that is developing in the Gaza city, and there is a need for a ceasefire. So we are working on a new draft resolution, which we hope to, push for action very soon.
This will be
So
through UNGA, new
no,
resolution,
Security Council
Security
in this
Council.
year.
And
Yes.
this will be calling what? This resolution will be calling what?
We are aiming this to be a short resolution that will be focused mostly on the humanitarian situation
Oh.
in Gaza, lifting of the blockade to allow the humanitarian assistance to flow in, without any restrictions, unconditional access.
And when
And
the Security Council meeting is expected?
we are discussing the draft at this stage. We are finalizing the draft.
So, Excellency, as you talked about that Arab countries, whatever is their position towards Israel, that is their own. And Pakistan will continue to maintain its position that there should be an independent Palestinian state. But on the ground, over last many weeks, whatever, of course, you have also an access to all information. Israel has completely rejected this two-state theory that there cannot be a Palestinian state. There has to be one Israeli state. So, keeping in view this particular angle, the position adopted by Israel that completely negates whatever is the position adopted by Arab or Muslim world. And second, number of times over the last few days, Israel has announced that it's going to occupy the entire Gaza Valley. So, when keeping in view these plans and announcements, then what is the standing of these resolutions and these old calls and debates when Israel is on the rampage in Gaza Valley?
Well, the position of the international community is very clear on these things. I mean, first of all, this is the new position. Basically, in the past, they had supported a two-state solution. And now they are again talking of a one-state solution.
Exactly.
But no one, I mean, except for a handful of countries who, together with the US, again, for US, it's also a different policy. It wasn't the case. And we can hope that it will not remain, forever the same new policy. Any case, there is no global support for this approach, and the international community is clearly on the other side. It is supporting tangible steps to be taken for the establishment, first of all, of an independent and contiguous Palestinian state, to help it in different ways, politically, economically, security wise, and work for a comprehensive peace between Palestine and Israel that would bring durable peace and stability in the region. That's the vision that is supported by the large majority of the UN membership. And Pakistan also subscribes to this. Now it is for Israel to decide whether they want to, remain on the sideline, isolated from this global expectation, and continue on the path of confrontation. This is something that the international community is viewing increasingly with a lot of concern, because if you say that your goal ultimately is peace and stability, but your policies are built on military actions and chaos and instability, and continuing fighting, and keeping open the front lines in different situations, then that doesn't translate into a policy that is seeking peace and a better future for the entire region. So I hope that there will be a shift in that policy. The US has an important role. It has influence over Israel. I believe that if they use that influence in the interest of longer term peace and stability in the region, there can be things which can be done differently. And it's a golden opportunity, in fact, right now with a momentum that is building towards a two-state solution to bring peace and stability to the Middle East.
So quickly, I would like to seek your comments. Is Pakistani delegate led by Prime Minister of Pakistan will be, of course, raising this Kashmir issue and the May conflict that you also referred. It was a significant success by Pakistan, and of course, Indian attack on Pakistan was unprovoked. It was breach of Pakistan's sovereignty. Is Pakistan going to highlight this thing?
Like every country leader who speaks at the UN General Assembly, we talk of our own national priorities,
Priorities.
regional issues, and Kashmir is a topmost, priority for Pakistan. It has always been mentioned and
Hmm.
highlighted in statements of leadership, and this would be the case obviously this time, and there is a new background to this, to what happened in May, and the
Hmm.
way the Pakistani nation, was united in
And
responding
supported
to
the armed
aggression.
forces of Pakistan, of course.
Exactly. And it has elevated
Hmm.
and projected the image of Pakistan as a united and a strong country uh,
Hmm.
internationally. So I believe it will be an important platform for the leadership to highlight the significant achievements of Pakistan.
So time is short. I would like to quickly seek your comments on during Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Beijing, 31st of August and 1st September 2025. President Xi called for a new global governance system. So, in the presence of United Nations, do you think the Western-led this governance system will pay any attention on President Xi's proposal that the global governance system should be reformed? There should be new system, reformed system, so that justice could be given to the nations which have been denied justice.
Thank you, Mateen Saab. This actually brings us to from where we started our conversation
Hmm.
about UN and 80 years, and the need for
And you
reform.
mentioned UNAT
Yes,
specific task by the UN Secretary General.
exactly. So basically, all of that is these are mechanisms of global governance. How do you envisage taking care of the three pillars, the issues revolving around the three pillars of the UN, that is peace and security, development, it includes climate, and also human rights. And then within there are many other things like trade and commerce and cultural, intercivilizational context and all of that.
Hmm.
So the Chinese leadership, and we appreciate the way they have approached all of these issues, particularly in recent years, especially under President Xi Jinping. So you recall that they had the Global Development Initiative, where they followed it up with the Global Security Initiative, GSI, and then they had a Global Civilization Initiative. I believe the latest proposal, that is called the Global Governance Initiative,
True.
it brings together, and it is a continuation of the three earlier. So you are talking of how you would like to see the global governance, the institutions, the policies,
True.
the mechanisms through which you want to promote global peace and security and development and promote intercultural, inter-civilizational dialogue and cooperation for global peace and prosperity. Something, a system that promotes the interests of all. And this is how the Chinese describe it, a win-win.
Win.
Yeah, so basically, I would say it's a good initiative. It is in support of multilateralism. It is actually in support of the UN. It is not proposing that you are disbanding this architecture and going for a new one, but it is saying that we need to do this better and we need to do it in a way that enhances the influence and the role of the large majority of the global community, which is the developing countries. So that also is a priority that Pakistan supports.
One quick, since you have 2 minutes, perhaps 2.5 minutes left. In the past, it is in your knowledge because you had an extensive experience of working with the UN system in the past as well. India had been trying to make entry into United Nations Security Council as permanent member. Very quick and short case. Do you think that in the years to come, somehow India is fit to make entry into the UN Security Council system?
This debate has been going on for many years. And I can tell you that with what has happened in recent years, there is actually increasing realization among the UN membership that if you're talking of Security Council per
Exactly.
se, the wide majority, you see them criticizing the Security Council for being inactive, not being able to decide, being blocked and paralyzed, and they say that this is because of the permanent members. So it could be one or the other. So basically, they have the veto power. They can block the action by the council. They are only protecting and promoting their own interests. They are not that worried or responsive to the interests of the global the community, the wider UN membership. So they are always criticizing the P5. And so our position is very logical. So we say that, if you believe, the wide majority believes that the main problem confronting the Security Council is the special privilege of the 5 permanent members who can block it, who can, paralyze action because they are always promoting their interests or the interests of their friends, then you cannot address this problem by actually aggravating it, by adding new such members. So it's a very logical, simple position that if you are going to add new individual permanent members, so now that you have to take care of the interests of 5, then you will have to take care of the interests of 10 or 12.
6 or 10 or 12, exactly.
Yeah, so
More
it will
complication.
be even more complicated and paralyzed. And that is not going to be the solution. That's actually going to worsen the situation. So, just to conclude and to summarize, when we acknowledge that the problems in the Security Council are because of the 5 permanent members, so a solution, in our view, should not be something that will aggravate this problem. And this is what the demand for new permanent members in the Security Council will do. So, Pakistan, together with our partners in the Uniting for Consensus group, that is a significant group of countries, including Italy, Spain, and Turkey, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, and others. We believe that we need to increase the number of elected members, and these could be for longer, medium term seats, and they will increase the democratic character of the Security Council. They will increase the representative nature of the Security Council. They will enhance transparency and accountability in the Security Council. And it is only by increasing such elected members that we can counter the influence of the P5 and make the Security Council a more democratic and effective institution. So that is our approach to the Security Council reform. We do not think that the model presented by the so-called G4 group of countries is feasible.
So, as United Nations is celebrating 80th anniversary, and this is going to be extraordinary session. So, where do you see United Nations in terms of last 80 years peace, conflict, and in the coming years, in the near future, do you think people around the world still attach hopes to the UN system, that the UN system may bring peace, stability, about the conflicts which are ongoing in different parts of world, including Palestine, Kashmir, Ukraine?
Yeah, there has been always been, if you ask member states, there is always a mixed feeling, but also, mixed in the sense that, well, a lot has been achieved. There are many things on which it requires a lot of progress. So even on development, the SDGs are lagging behind, but it's not necessarily the fault of the UN. And if human rights are violated, which the UN is trying to promote and defend, again, it's not the fault of the UN, but it's the responsibility of the member states to ensure that human rights are not violated. It's the responsibility of member states to enhance that level of cooperation that will enable the implementation of the SDGs. And again, on peace and security, it is the responsibility of member states to, first of all, implement the resolutions of the United Nations. So you can hold the UN responsible, but actually it is up to the member states to do what needs to be done. But having said that, if you ask the membership, the wide majority, maintain a strong belief, and they are committed to multilateralism. They are committed to the UN. And you need to understand that there is no alternative at the moment to the UN. So this is the best available platform at the moment. And the only thing that we should be doing is to ensure that we strengthen this mechanism. We continue the efforts for reform to make it more effective, to make it more representative, and to enable it to carry out its responsibilities under the three bigger pillars of peace and security, development, and human rights in a better way. So this is how they're projecting it, a UN that is fit for the future. And this is an objective that is basically espoused by the large majority of membership. The bigger countries will always see all of this as a way to retain or enhance their influence, to promote their own interests and priorities through the UN. That is understandable. But the wide or the large majority of UN membership, they are looking at the UN performing in a way that delivers on global priorities and common interests. And they revolve mostly around development and peace and security issues.
Lastly, only Prime Minister of Pakistan's meetings with the global leaders on the sideline of United Nations General Assembly that take place every year. So any significant meeting this year? We are also hearing news that there might be a meeting between Pakistani Prime Minister and US President on the sideline.
Well, as is customary, when the Prime Minister comes, so apart from his address to the General Assembly, there are meetings, important meetings with global leaders, because this is a time where everyone is there. So depending on the schedule, several important bilateral meetings are arranged. This will be the case this time. We'll let you know as soon as the program is finalized.
Yes.
And apart from the bilaterals with other global leaders, there usually is the meeting with the UN Secretary General and the US President, and being the host country, also they organize a reception, which is
Exactly.
all normally participated by global leaders. So there are many opportunities which are there during this high level week, and we will utilize them to the fullest possible.
Thank you so much indeed, Ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmed Saab, Pakistan's permanent representative to United Nations, for highlighting the upcoming session of United Nations General Assembly. And that is special that UN General Assembly is turning 80 now, and also for highlighting several other initiatives, including possible expansion in the UN Security Council. If it is expanded, whether Security Council permanent members should be expanded or there should be expansion among non-permanent members, and what criteria should be adopted, and what is the role of United Nations in maintaining global peace and security on Gaza, on Kashmir, and on a number of other issues. You have highlighted this all. Thank you so much once again, despite your busy schedule, and you attended our program. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you.